What up, everybody? Wise guys back in the building
Yes, sir.
with your boy Cliff and
Same field.
already, man. So we got another. We're gonna give you a two for today. We're gonna talk about a subject that is definitely hitting home as far as the football, kids football community, the black community, and what have you. I think a lot of people have covered it, and I think some better than others. If I'm being real, but we're gonna give our point of view on this, man, because it just to me, this is a situation that has should never been, you know, something that we should even be talking about. Very avoidable and very apropos of our community, which is, the so-called black. So, anything you got to start us off? Well, no, we doing it wrong. Man, we play pimping. Sammy, let them know what they need to do, man.
Yeah, I was waiting on the spot.
Play pimping, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but now, please like, follow, comment, subscribe, please, if you can. We're on this channel. We're trying to be more consistent. We are being more consistent with it. So, the more of you here, the better it is for us. You had plenty of other stuff. We appreciate y'all, everybody that's been here from the start, everybody that's coming. So keep rocking with us.
There you go. So for all y'all saying, okay, what are y'all talking about? For y'all who've been hiding under a rock, let me go ahead and show you the actual. So we're going to show two different videos. Now, one is going to be WFAA, which is one of the syndicates down there in the DFW area, talk about information from the shooting. And then we're going to do a backdrop video, excuse me, but we're going to react to Jason Whitlock talking about it. Now, I know a lot of y'all saying Jason Whitlock. I don't know. If you don't know, man, Jason Whitlock he's hit or miss. But lately, he's been batting 1,000, man, on his takes when he left the Fox Network. So we're gonna show that and show the parts that we agree with, the parts we don't agree with, and we hope y'all like it, man. So without further ado, let's roll that beautiful bean footage. All right, so let's talk about the shooting part first, just to get everybody caught up, and then we're gonna hop into the actual minutia of what took place.
Book your head right here. You jumping around.
WFAA has obtained new video of the shooting in Lancaster of Coach Mike Hickman. In the video, you see the moments before the shooting.
So let me run that back.
Was that him just shooting him right there?
Yes. So this is Talib's brother right here. This is the coach who lost his life. But Mike Hickman is his name. The crazy part is he already getting jumped, man. I want to break this down a little bit, man, because this is some nigga shit, man. I don't know what it is. Dude getting jumped, so he trying to. Well, let me back up again. The reason why this all took place is because he tried to pick up a football that he paid his hard-earned money for, right? And one of them dudes kicked the ball away because they run up on him, as you can see what's going on right here. They run up on him. And apparently, Talib's wife was in the altercation too, which is the levels of ratchet is crazy, man. So anything you got right now before we go back into the?
I just want to. I haven't seen this video, so I'm interested to see like the full view. I only saw like a 5-second clip or something like that. So.
Got you. Okay. So let's go.
He has obtained new.
All right. So he swings that little first down thing at the people. Obviously, people are rushing him, right? It's already obviously unfair, right?
So the one in the white is the coach.
This one that's the one who gets killed. This is Mr. Hickman right here.
Okay.
And this is I forget his name. That's Talib's brother right there.
Aqib,
yeah. No, the brother Aqib Talib is the one who played for the NFL. The brother, I forget his name. All right, so. Yeah, so they run up on him right now. Obviously, It's an unfair fight.
Yeah.
It's an unfair fight, right? So we all understand this. Okay, the dude can't handle that. May give him a few kicks or whatever. Then that's pretty much it, right?
Video of the shooting.
All right, so again, the whole whole crowd's there. I guess this is Talib's wife right here. I guess it's who that is.
In Lancaster of.
All right, so he down on the ground.
Coach Mike
Can't
Hickman.
defend himself.
Oh,
On the ground.
Back it up to like where the Russian started. Where?
All right, let's check it out.
WFAA has
All right, so he backpedaling. You got about 6 or 7 people rushing him, right?
He by himself.
By himself.
obtained new video
All right.
of the shooting.
He's trying to defend himself. He can't. People
Lancaster
still rushing him. grabbing him.
Coach Mike.
Well,
Get pushed to the ground. Huh?
I'm watching the brother. Like he's I'm
Ain't
watching
doing shit.
and he ever since like soon as he started hitting was swinging, he's pulling out his gun and cocking it. Like back it up. Cause we seen this, but back it up, watch him.
Okay.
He came over there with
A has
With bad intentions.
obtained new
look,
video
before he get out,
the shooting in Lancaster of Coach Mike
look,
Hickman.
just
Hold on,
he
let me
just
see it
cocked it.
again. I missed that. I'm sorry. Let me look again. I looked at the wrong dude.
Lancaster.
Okay, yeah. So it's him right here. So there's real confrontation going on, and his pussy ass going straight to pulling out a gun.
Of Coach Mike
Look
Hickman.
at this. Look at this. He on the ground. Everybody keeping their distance,
In the video,
and you got the man trying to defend himself, and you pull out a gun, and not to mention there's 80 kids out there, right?
Right.
So you so caught up in your own ego that this man who y'all already jumping, trying to just get up and defend himself so he won't get stomped out. So your reaction is to pull the strap out and start shooting. Lord have mercy, man.
All right, running in real time.
All right, let's run it back one more in real time.
Yeah, right here. You jumping around.
WFAA has obtained new video of the shooting in Lancaster of Coach Mike Hickman. In the video, you see the moments before the shooting. Witnesses say the person wearing a hat and white sneakers is former NFL cornerback Aqib Talib. They say he walked across the field first to the opposing side. Coach Heath Mays witnessed what happened.
That's
He
crazy,
ran across
man.
the field and got on our sideline, got in the referee's face.
Multiple witnesses say Aqib is the one who started the brawl because he was upset about the referees.
He's the one that threw the first punch. That's why you see Mike running back on. If you ever seen the video, he's running back trying to defend himself.
Hey, and Jason Whitlock's gonna do an excellent job of lining this dude up. Aqib has a history of not controlling his anger. So this is just another permutation of it. And unfortunately, somebody losing their life, man. That's the part that pisses me off. You got something?
No, I let it process. Go ahead.
Hear the gunshot. Lancaster police arrested Aqib's brother, Yaqub Talib, saying he killed Coach Hickman. In an arrest affidavit, police say this all started over an argument about the score of the game, but doesn't say who started the fight. Aqib Talib's lawyer issued a statement saying his client was present when this unfortunate incident occurred.
No, he ain't. You ain't distressed and distraught over shit. See, this is stuff I hate, man. When something goes left like this, again, no accountability, man. So nobody's gonna, Black Lives Matter ain't gonna come protest over this shit. Because this is so unavoidable, it's not even funny, man.
Yeah.
It's not even funny how avoidable this is. But I mean, everybody with legal representation gonna put a generic, word out there. I understand this is protocol, but shit just disgusts me, man.
And is very distraught and devastated over this terrible loss of life. He would like to convey his condolences to the family of the victim and to everyone who witnessed this unfortunate tragedy. The Talib brothers are no strangers to law enforcement and have been investigated for multiple shootings, including in 2016 when Dallas police believe Aqib Talib was shot at the V-Live strip club. 2 other people were also shot that night. This is video of Aqib showing up at the hospital with a gunshot wound. He and his brother were all
Thug life, bro. I didn't even know this existed.
Happened out
Pull
of
up.
Rolls Royce. Shot.
A fucking Rolls Royce. You doing nigga shit, getting shot. Cause you know he was doing nigga shit.
Yeah.
He wasn't there just minding his business, just being a great citizen. At V Live, I've been there before in Dallas. Nice little place with some single mothers. Throw them a little. You support them $1 at a time if you catch my drift. But that place is pretty chill, man. So that means you was on some fuck shit. You probably got drunk. You probably got full, as they call it, and you was on some fuck shit. Go ahead.
No, I want to get to the next.
All right, let's get it.
Also investigated in 2015 after someone fired a gun inside this downtown Dallas nightclub. Dallas police say the brothers had gotten into a fight. Police say they couldn't find enough evidence to charge them with any crimes. But now, Yaqub Talib is charged with murder while police continue to investigate if any other charges will be filed. In Dallas, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
So that's video one, man. So we're giving just a rundown, and they left out some vital information, but I think they did a good job of covering. And we ate deep in the building, man. I see these comments popping up. Let me get on this. And shout out to my guy, Christian G says, what's happening, guys, man? You know, we're trying to just cover this stuff, man. Cole on the Sticks in the building says, what up, fellas? NCCU Dog 98 says, I read Aqib Talib's wife was also in that little group. Yeah, that's what I was just lamenting on earlier. So that's crazy, man. Cole said, very, very unavoidable, man. And it's hard to. In the last video we did was funny. I can't even bring any humor out of this because this shit to me is why our community is where it is. Nobody wants to call this shit out, and y'all ain't gonna like this. Some of y'all for that matter. But Jason Whitlock got on this topic. He got on it tough, and like they say, where's the lie?
Yeah.
Where's the lie? So we're gonna do 10 minutes of this. Because he goes all the way in, but 10 minutes is all we need. He covers pretty much everything. Anything before we get started, Sam?
Y'all just watch with an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know everybody got their own opinion on it, what they would have, could have done, you know, but just pay attention with an open mind. Be objective about it. So,
hey, man, let the truth be the truth, man, not your feelings. So let's get it.
The tragic murder of Mike Hickman is illustrative of a problem plaguing Black neighborhoods that we've been groomed to ignore. It's racist to discuss the self-hatred that provokes Black men to cavalierly settle disagreements with gun violence. According to approved media wisdom, the random senseless murder of Black men by other Black men within Black communities is a proximity crime that can only be solved by money, integration, and the passionate affection of white people. Mike Hickman would be alive today if white police officers properly loved Black people. So
shit, let them tell it.
But Hickman's sister, Jennifer, she was murdered a year ago. Another victim.
Yeah, what you got?
We got some kind of feedback. Like
It's a feedback?
Yeah, it's echoing somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear it's like, yeah.
It's not on my end. Everybody in the chat, let me know. Are you hearing a feedback?
Yeah. Do y'all hear that echo? Or is it just
maybe it's too loud. Let me turn the volume down a little bit on this. But I think, as we starting off, he said that we're groomed to ignore that stuff, which is true. We start talking about this kind of stuff. You just never know, and we just can't. No. Nope. Yes, we can judge. Yes, we can call this shit out.
Right.
But let's keep going.
Of Black on Black violence in desperate need of white love.
Fair use.
Fair use, man. Fair use. There you go.
Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Monday to you and yours. We made it through the weekend. It's good to be back. We're here for the long haul this week. And we have a fantastic lineup of shows for you this week. And we're going to get it started today with an awesome show that will feature two fearless soldiers, Dave Shannon.
All right, let's get to it. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Corporate media
go.
has made it taboo to discuss the cultural.
And I like how he's framing this, man. It ain't no say his name. Black Lives Matter going on for this brother right here, right? Mr. Hickman, it's none for him, right?
No marches, no protesting, nothing.
Well, are we not at the Pee Wee Stadium right there protesting about, which, I think it's ridiculous anyway, but to go, why are you not going there and protesting about black on black violence?
Right.
Oh, no, we can't talk about that. That's Conan. Shit's ridiculous, man.
Rot at the root of black men randomly killing each other. So you're unlikely to see a Say His Name campaign focused on Mike Hickman. Hickman is
Even further, I mean, maybe I'm tripping. Somebody correct me. Why has no other news network picked this, like sports news network, picked this story up?
That's a good question.
Because peep game. Let's say one of those referees was a white dude, off-duty police officer, and they was rushing him. He pulled out a strap and laid one of them dudes down. What the fuck do you think that will be on our TV screens? Innumerably, shown. What would you think would?
24/7. Yeah. This is just expected news. That's why.
And that's sad, man. And that's sad that we expect this shit. Like Nicole Hargrove says, because it's black on black crime. And listen, man, I'm not saying that proximity crimes don't happen, because they do. Like, you kill, you steal, you fuck people you around. But when in an inordinate amount of that shit happens, then we got to see that's a fucking problem. It's a fucking problem, man.
worthy of the kind of deification corporate and social media reserved for heroic black men harmed while resisting arrest. Hickman is no George Floyd, Michael Brown.
And I think he gonna lace down what George Floyd did, but like, Lord have mercy, man. The fact that, I mean, and no disrespect to the brother, man. George Floyd meant a lot to a lot of people. But for what his rap sheet was and the way he went about life, like, I'm gonna just say it, like, those kind of niggas you throw away, man. And not throw away in the sense that you don't have some type of compassion or like just general care for another black man. But as far as championing the way he lived his life, man, hell no, man. Hell no. Like what? Is the bar that low? Where we give reverence to people like that? Like, what?
Yeah. Clearly. It clearly is that low. So let's see what he got to say now.
Let's go.
Brown, Dante Wright, Rayshard Brooks, Jacob Blake, or Eric Garner. Hickman was a father, husband, active local church member, a former running back at the University of North Texas, and a Little League football coach. Saturday night in Lancaster, Texas.
Perfect example of what a black man should be as far as the archetype standpoint. Now, I know his personal affairs, but as far as the archetype, this is what you will want in our community. Am I lying?
Nah, absolutely.
Lord have mercy.
This.
But nobody got nothing to say about his life, though. It's crazy. You can be a degenerate and you get murals on the street and all that shit, right? If a white cop happened to end your life. That shit's crazy.
An opposing coach gunned down 43-year-old Mike Hickman in front of 80 Pee Wee football players.
That's crazy.
Following a scrimmage between players 9 years and under, the adult coaches engaged in an on-field brawl sparked when someone kicked the ball Hickman attempted to pick up from the ground. According to police, Jacob Talib, the brother of a former NFL star, ended the melee, shooting Hickman dead. Hickman's 9-year-old son was.
And I gotta say too, from the first video, he shot him like 5 times, bro. Like who does that?
Niggas.
Boy, who does that? And you gotta be cognizant that it's a football game of 9-year-olds just took place. In your way to end that conflict is to shoot a motherfucker 5-6 times. Ugh. Lord have mercy, man.
Was on the field at the time. So was Aqib Talib, the former 5-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, NFL broadcaster, and brother of the alleged shooter. The tragedy that befell Mike Hickman is illustrative of a problem plaguing black neighborhoods that we've been groomed to ignore. It's racist to discuss the self-hatred that provokes black men to cavalierly settle disagreements with gun violence. According to approved media wisdom, the random, senseless murder of black men by other black men within black communities is a proximity crime that can only be solved by money, integration, and the passionate affection of white people. Mike Hickman would be alive today if white police officers properly loved black people. So would Hickman's sister, Jennifer. Last July, Jeffrey Allen Scott confessed to murdering Jennifer Hickman, a 37-year-old middle school teacher, volleyball coach, and mother of one daughter. Jennifer played basketball at Texas Southern University. She earned a master's degree in education from Concordia University, Texas. So let's do the math here. Within a 13-month span, in separate incidents, a brother and sister who used athletics to earn college degrees and dedicated themselves to helping young people were murdered by black men. A brother and a sister murdered within 13 months of each other in separate incidents. But we won't shout their names. They're victims of proximity homicides. Those murders don't matter. There are no white people to directly blame. Lancaster is a working class suburb approximately 15 minutes south of Oak Cliff, Dallas. That's the area where Mike.
If y'all know the area, this area where a lot of fuckery goes on. I gotta say that in good faith.
Absolutely. Shout out Mountain.
Yeah, shout out to Mountain View Campus.
And Jennifer Hickman grew up. 65% of Lancasters.
They showing one of the best sites you can show up Oak Cliff right here, which is old Oak Cliff, the area that they're rebuilding up. Because when you get to the neighborhood part, it does not look this good. That's just real shit.
Yeah.
All right, we got a few comments. Let's catch up. Statues, okay. Said they already jumping him 5-1. Why shoot him? Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Nicole said they need to stop making bets when men be having these. Yeah, these side bets are definitely a part of that degenerative culture of youth sports as it was. So yeah, no, that's definitely in play too.
41,000 residents.
You got something? My bad.
Nah, I said it's the first time I heard that they be making bets.
Oh yeah, they be making side bets in these games. Hood dudes come and do that shit. Yeah, absolutely.
Are black. 23% are Hispanic. The city has produced a handful of journeyman NFL players. Its most famous native is perhaps former Duke basketball player Thomas Hill, who was a shooting guard for the Blue Devils during the Christian Laettner Grant Hill era. Aqib and Aqib Talib, raised by their single mother, grew up in Richardson, Texas. Richardson, Texas, a northern suburb of Dallas. 25 miles separate Richardson from Lancaster. Talib and Hickman fit the corporate media's proximity profile. So what's the solution? Should black people distance themselves from each other? Given that Aqib earned more than $70 million during his 12-year NFL career, it's hard to blame poverty for Aqib shooting Hickman.
Boom. So what he's basically saying is you can't throw money at a problem and think you're fixing it. How you fix a problem is you actually address a problem. And that's the problem in our, you say Oak Cliff, the Greens Point, it really is though. This is and William Hand says, man, he says, and salute to you, bro. He says, this is precisely why I hoard resources for myself and only myself. Though I'm not old enough to be called grown, not even 28, I'm not giving back to anyone. Screw that inner city stuff, man. Listen, man, I champion anybody who wants to help other people out. If that's your thing, cool. I'm more of a proponent to help out like-minded individuals, man, because if you're just throwing resources to people who don't respect anything, you're wasting those resources, in my opinion. But you can speak to what you believe.
No, I agree. I'm interested to see why that's his perspective. Why that's your perspective, bro? I'm quite the opposite. I put more like how Cliff does it is to help people that I know need the help. Not people that just take advantage of people that's giving out help. And it no matter if you come into the toy drive, the back to school drive, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, if I see you like trying to bleed us, it's not happening. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? So we out here for the people that's out here and need us, but we definitely not giving it to people that, it's just leeches. And there's a bunch of those in our community. It's a bunch of those everywhere. But I'm interested to see why you. I understand, take care of yourself first, because if you're not full, how could you give to anybody else? I get that. So if that's the position you're coming from, I understand. But I do also understand that it's people out here, it's kids mainly. I don't like adults, whatever. But it's kids out here that could really use our help. And you 28, we started doing this shit way before 28. You know what I'm saying? You're not even 28 yet, but we started doing that way before 28. So if you're not too young to, you know what I'm saying, get out here and get back to somebody you might see could use some help, because it's kids out here, like he mentioned, Whitlock, he said they came up from a single mother household or whatever. Clearly he made the NFL, but his brother, I don't know, he made it off his brother, it seems like. And he just got this hotel and that's my brother, and you know, I'm a coach now, and you know, he probably, I heard that this was, he funded like the referees, the field.
It's his league. It's his league.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So that's clearly why he was there, but mainly it's his brother's team and all that stuff. So his brother didn't have the same outcome as him. And those kids that's out there, a lot of them, they need to be out there. You know what I'm saying? So them just giving back in that manner is why this is such a tragedy. Besides the fact that that guy lost his life in front of his son, in front of other kids, but he was actually doing something to give back to kids that actually need it. And these kids, a lot of them out there, is like, I gotta make it or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they go so hard. You know, they really do, because they really feel like they gotta make it or nothing. And a lot of them won't, but at least that'll get them through the tougher parts of like high school. You know, it'll keep them structured enough with a coach somewhere, you know, that'll keep them in line to get them out of school. But giving back is important, bro. I saw that comment and it triggered me, because I know that these kids need help. You know what I'm saying? And I know you got to do what you got to do for you. That's first, because if you ain't full, like I said, you can't do shit for nobody.
You're not in a position to help. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but man, it is important. If you can, don't go out your way. If you can't, but if you can, man, it's important to get back, because there's a lot of kids that they got a bad hand, you know, and they didn't deal that shit. So if we can do something about it, especially if we know about it, you know, we've been there before. Like I've been there before, so I know what it's like. I don't know if you've been there before, but it's important. I just say it.
Yeah, and William actually did respond. He says, nope, never, can't do it. When you try to help, you get articles like this. If I was one of us in that position, people would walk by us, try to pay it forward, and you get murdered. Not worth it. Well, I say this. That can be a scenario, and it's not necessarily like that. So I wouldn't say having, like Sammy said, man, we've done toy drives, we've done back to school stuff, we've done a lot of shit, and it doesn't lead to negativity. But you know, these one-off situations, it can. And at the end of the day, nobody's here to tell you what to do with your resources. Like, if that's what you feel, then do what you do. Make sure those around you, you know, are prosperous with yourself and rock it out like that. Because at the end of the day, we need more productive, non-degenerative black folks. So, but that's just how you roll, then I have no problem with that. I have no issues with that. Like, I think we got this complex that we gonna save the world, and we're not. Better families save the world. So if that's the way you're contributing by having an upstanding, good family, then by all means, do it that way. It's not your job to save nobody else's kids at the end of the day. Some of us just kind of want to, just for whatever reason. We've been, you know, coaches for a long time. We played sports and we saw the benefit, you know, from coaches giving a damn. So it just comes that's ingrained in us, but I'm not saying that has to be your plight. So I do want to say that.
No, absolutely. And I get it. You don't want to lose your life, but that's a very extreme case. And I can't say that I didn't see it going there. Lil Sammy, we had a championship game a couple weeks ago, and the opposing coach, he wanted to fight one of my assistant coach. Like, they already had some, well, like I heard from this situation, they had some pre-existing beef, and they did have pre-existing beef. But after they lost that game, like, all the emotions boiled over, and he was really trying to fight the parents and everything. Like, they was the whole side over there. They was trying to fight. They called it a race game because the referee was black. Like, it got out of hand, you know. But so you can see that this was coming in youth sports, because parents are too emotionally invested, and emotionally intelligent. So
there you go. I like it.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. So it gets out of hand, and then things like this happen, and you know, it's really weak shit. I hate punk ass shit. Cliff will tell you, man, I hate it more than anything on this planet. That's whole ass shit what he did. He wasn't even in the fight. He wasn't even in the fight. If you saw it in the beginning when we showed the video, he not even in the fight. He ain't throw one punch. He walk up, pull his gun out, cock it, wait till he get a chance, and then shoot him. And then not just shoot him because he's trying to protect people. He shoot him 5 fucking times. That's the weakest shit I hope he burns in fucking jail. I hope he rots in jail.
I hear you, Charleston White. Get him, Charleston.
I'm sorry. I get it. I'm sorry. You know me. I get it. I get emotional when it comes to that shit, man. Because it don't make sense. He didn't have to do that shit. He wasn't even a threat. He was on the ground. He was on the ground. All your people standing up over him. He on the ground, getting up, and you fucking shoot him. You weak as fuck. You weak as fuck. Your brother weak as fuck. Akeem, you weak as fuck for facilitating that shit, not stopping it. It's your shit. You weak as fuck. So you and your lawyer and that punk ass, pussy ass statement you made was bullshit. You weak for that shit. And your brother a hoe. And his wife, she a hoe too.
You done went from Charleston White to Pimp C. Don't put you on so.
I'm done, man. I'm done. It just got me mad. I rebalance myself. I just hate hoe ass shit, man. I seen too many people die like that. You know what I'm saying? So, in this case, exactly, he died, man. He died. He's gone. He died in front of his 9-year-old son, and then 80 other kids that probably never seen somebody get murdered in their life. And now they can never undo that shit. Because what? Because what? Y'all jumping him. Y'all jumping him. He ain't whooping y'all. I understand if he was on y'all head. He was a big dude. But he's on the ground getting up, and you come up, pull out a gun, cock it, and then shoot him 5 times. 5 times, bro. That's the weakest shit I ever seen in my life. And I swear to God, I hope they kill him in jail. I hope they kill him in jail. You could quote me on that. I hope they kill him in jail and make him feel it as much as that man had to feel with 5 shots. I hope they make him feel that pain because that's some whole ass shit. You a whole ass nigga to do some shit like that. You don't deserve to ever see the light of day ever in your motherfucking life. But sorry, hope you two don't strike us. We ain't monetized. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just wish you gave your real opinion. You held back so much on that. So,
man, I just, bro, I get fed up with that shit. We see it every day though, and it's like a trickle down effect, you know, and it's the residual effects of the little shit that y'all do, and it snowballs into this shit, and y'all don't realize it until it's this. And then when it's this, y'all don't even care. Y'all don't care because it wasn't a white cop fucking killing him.
There you go.
Now, if it was a white cop killing him, is no way we gotta change the world because that shit happened. Like
it'll been another protest shutdown. You bet your bottom fucking dollar.
Oh, bro.
They would have cared about the kids watching the black man getting killed all of a sudden, right?
That would have been headlines everywhere.
Come on, man.
And it's only headlines now because the fucking NFL star was involved. That I believe that. And that's the only reason why, I mean, shit, I ain't seen it since. So it's not even really a story like that no more. A few people chattering about it, but in like football groups, youth football groups, but I haven't seen that on my timeline.
It's no story to sell to the agenda though. Like the agenda is black being oppressed. The agenda is black, white folks just walk around just fucking your day up every day, right?
Yeah.
That's the story. Which is funny because liberals push this shit, and liberals are the very people that they try to act like they're not, which is the quote unquote white manipulative brass, as it were. Man, Malcolm X nailed it, talking about the liberal white man like that. That is a way bigger enemy than you, but they have a veneer of that they're with you. so they can just do what the fuck they want to do. Because why is that? We look at in general, especially a liberal kind of how can I put it, understanding white person, like, please tell me you like me. Please tell me you love me, right? And I say this all the time. Passive aggression is the same thing as aggression to me, and I treat it the same way. When someone's being passive aggressive rather to me, I give you the same stank look as if you just been an asshole, because you all been an asshole. You're doing it in a surreptitious fashion, which means secretive, right? To me, it's the same disrespect. So I think in our community, we got to start getting a little wiser to like manipulation that we got going and like our way that we move, because the way that we move, man, it needs a lot of work, man, because it's very unwise. And again, we talk about diagnosing an actual issue that we got in our community. This one again, like Whitlock said, for you guys coming in late, man, y'all hit the like button, by the way. He was saying, well, we're conditioned to ignore this shit. We're conditioned to do that. Y'all understand that the gravity of that statement? That means that the culture is you don't call this out under no circumstance do you call this out. You address it maybe a little bit and you let it roll because you don't want us to look bad. Bullshit. That's some bullshit.
Bro. And that's exactly why the fuck we look bad. Like,
fuck looking bad. That's why we are bad.
There you
fuck
go.
Looking bad. That's why we can't fix these things, because we don't even want to address it's a fucking problem. And that's the fucking problem, overarchingly speaking.
Absolutely.
That's the fucking problem.
William say, but I do agree with the bit about children. When you know that someone needs help, you do all that you can. That's the one and only exception. No, I agree, bro. Because these kids, man, I went to a funeral yesterday, and I ain't gonna be long on it, but it's a 7-year-old's funeral.
Damn.
He's a foster kid. I call him my cousin because my uncle and his mom were supposed to get married like 25 years ago, and they didn't get married, but we was cousins. But his uncle, which is only a couple years older than us, they adopted him, and so he was a foster child. They took him in as a foster kid, and then they adopted him. And he was also, the uncle I'm talking about, was also adopted as well. But long story short, they found him in a washing machine, in their washing machine.
Oh, I know you're talking about it, yeah.
So I went to that funeral yesterday, and I haven't cried in a long time. Just because, I stay pretty balanced. But seeing that kid in that casket triggered me in many ways. One, from seeing my own kid in the casket, my first son, and then just knowing that he just made 7 and he didn't get to live his life for whatever reason. We don't know what happened. They waiting on the autopsy. We don't know. But he didn't get to live his life, and that shit is just not fair. First, he's discarded as a child because his parents fucking suck, and he had to be a foster child, and he had to get adopted by an outside family. And then with that family, he loses his life. Like, I say all that to say there are kids that cannot control their circumstances, and us with more power and resources or whatever, we have to be cognizant of that, and get back when we can, where we can, because they can't control that shit. And this is an extreme case. It's not every day you see a kid, a 7-year-old, get found in a washing machine, but it's right here close to home, you know what I'm saying? So anything can happen. We just need to be proactive with it, and that's what I was talking about. But you're right. Everything else is charity. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is the obligation for me, when I can do it. So I just wanted to touch on that. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a good segue. All right, so let's finish up. We've got another minute or so of this, and we land the plane on this one.
Maybe poverty and proximity don't explain the astronomical murder rate impacting the life expectancy of Black men. Maybe it's a culture of self-hate and disrespect. Maybe the pursuit of white love doesn't cure Black self-hate.
Bingo.
Maybe the matriarchal culture adopted by American Black people foments emotional men with no
bingo
impulse control. It's just a random thought. Popular culture has certainly normalized the denigration and destruction of black men. It's so normalized that American media companies seem to prefer black broadcasters with.
What do you say?
Run it back to that part where he said the matriarch.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
With no impulse control. You can see a black man. Maybe it's a culture of self-hate and disrespect. Maybe the pursuit of white love doesn't cure black self-hate. Maybe the matriarchal culture adopted by American black people foments emotional men with no impulse control.
Hey, like Tag Team said in '92, man, who that is?
Bro, that is, he said a lot. And why I wanted to touch on that is because that's exactly what the fuck it is. Mothers are very important in building us up emotionally. That's where I got my heart, you know what I'm saying? Like I my heart for people. It's where I learned religion and all that shit. But my mom, she really nurtured my emotions. You know what I'm saying? And turned me to be the person that I am emotionally, which is good and bad at times. You know, but to his point, it's too many men acting like women, and I'll say it like that. And no disrespect to the women, because you are a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, women, to me, you're supposed to be
What you are.
Yeah, you're naturally emotional because you're a nurturer. To be a nurturer, you have to be emotional. You got to be led by emotion. You have to, because you're going to go to the feelings versus the facts. Like, for example, if Lil Sammy falls and scrape his knee, I'm gonna assess the situation like, all right, is he good? He all right? All right, get up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get back up, because I know at the end of the day, when you hurt yourself, you fall, you got to get back up. The mom is gonna be like, oh man, let me address that scab, you know, the scuff on his knee, and make sure he knows that I care, that he's okay. You know, that's the nurturer in it. And not that I don't care, it's just I'm led different.
You're looking next step ahead, like that can be fixed easily.
Right.
What's the main part of this situation?
Exactly, and that's what I'm looking at, you know, and that's what us men, that's why we're more logical and y'all are more emotional, and that's okay, because that's balance when you got two people that's well balanced, you know what I'm saying? So to his point though, it's too many fucking men out here acting like women. Y'all are emotionally led, and you can't be a fucking man acting like that. You just can't, because, and I'll attest to this, every emotional decision I've ever made was the wrong fucking decision. It was. And being in love and just not fucking thinking, and you know what I'm saying? Like, just leading with emotion was the wrong decision every goddamn time. If you apply a little logic to it, that emotion goes out the window. It goes out the window. So he walked up to that man in his feelings for whatever reason, because he couldn't have been fucking thinking. He couldn't have been thinking like, all right, this makes sense for me to go kill him in front of all these goddamn people.
Yeah.
That's not logic. So emotionally, he goes up to him, trying to prove whatever the fuck it is he's trying to prove, and he goes and murders this man. And now he in jail forever. He will not get out. So you can't lead with emotion. And it's too many of our men, it's too many men out here leading with emotion. And it's because it's probably because you was raised by a single woman. You didn't have a daddy to balance that shit out. I'm not saying that you can't be raised by a single woman successfully, because you can. But just by and large, it's not, we don't have the best numbers for that. Especially black people. We don't have the best numbers for that. We don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the percentages, but Anyway, I'm just saying, like, single black women and raising black men.
It produces people who don't logically think and emotionally respond, and that.
See, I don't want to beat down on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to.
The truth is truth, man. I don't know shit about that.
I just don't want to make it seem like that. I just want to.
It is like that. That's why our kids read at a poor level in general. Our men, basically, and our men have very low impulse control. Like Jason Whitlock, it is what it is, man. They coming out of these single households because there's not the balance, like you just talked about.
Yeah,
so it's not hard to understand.
Yeah,
it's not beating down on shit. That's just telling what it is.
How do we fix it though? I guess that's the next.
Make better families, make better people. That's it. No throwing money, no government assistance. It's not gonna change shit. Make better families, make better people. Shame stuff like this. Bring public shame to shit like this.
I agree.
That's how you do it. Because and like I said, I mean, it just feels like, no, I'm just saying, I mean, like in reality, as a people, until some cataclysmic stuff happen, like we're done. We're done because we're not gonna do that. That's way too much accountability. That's way too much selflessness that we have to adopt as a people and be on some type of an accord. It ain't happening. People think that personal freedom will be taken away. Oh, you can't talk to my baby like this. I'm doing the best I can do. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. It'll never get nowhere. Oh well, you can't talk about him because he joined the gang. That's like a family to him because he had the broken house. Blah blah blah. It'll never go nowhere. It's always it's circular conversation. So that's why I don't waste my time. Now, I like our platform. We can talk about it, but as far as like debating with a motherfucker over this, it's pointless.
Yeah,
it's pointless.
Right. It's just gonna take better people.
That's it.
Or better people to influence people to be better too. But it's so hard to undo. Well, Robin, I actually know you, and again, you're an outlier. You're not.
The exception ain't the rule, man. It's never that. See, people get personal with that, and the exception is not the rule. It's like, well, I ain't like that. The people I know like that. That's fine, but we're talking about the over 50%. What does that look like? And again, in that sentiment, and Robin, I don't know what you meant by that, but I detect a little sarcasm. Yeah. But that's why problems never get solved, because we can't even speak on it. We can't even address it. So it just goes undiagnosed, and it just festers within our own little sub community, right? And it just never gets dealt with. And to me, that's the problem. Like, because we can't shame anything. We can't say anything about, I don't want to take the conversation somewhere else, but just a lot of things that we do as a community is like, well, you can't tell them like that. You don't know their situation, and blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, man. How are we honestly going to ever address anything if that's always the buffer you put on everything? So that way you just leave it alone and it never gets addressed.
Yeah.
It's madness, man. Yeah,
the statistics show, though, they don't lie. And though you're a great mom, and there are a lot of other great moms out there.
Of course it is.
Overall, it's not that great, and society shows you that. It's not by chance that these things are happening. Like this, it's a lot of people like that with that same attitude. I see it every day on my timeline. I see people that.
I used to be a teacher. I saw it every day, man. Like I ain't trying to hear that shit, man.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Single motherhood is not a good idea. It's just not. It again does not mean every woman is a bad mother. Never will we say that on this channel. No. But the idea that we think that this single motherhood thing is like a good thing that's making our community better is fucking not. And we got our whole lives to show. Show this not.
Right.
It just is. It's just like dudes going out being reckless with their seed. That is horrible for our community. Now, problem is, I think 54% men are being single and childless. It's not a big bulk of guys having all these kids. Like guys like myself, I'm 38 years old. There are a lot of guys like me who just fuck around and never have a kid, right? But there are guys who are making the babies or making babies by multiple women, because I guess that little, me and Sammy talked about this before, that buffer of like, damn, I gotta have a kid. once you take it off and you deal with it, and you learn how to maintain being a single father or being a father. It's like, okay, I can do another one. All right, I can work with that. People like me, it's like, oh shit, fuck, it's hard enough paying my own goddamn bills.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that and it's something to consider as well, because the narrative has always been guys out here just fucking all these women and making babies and leaving. But it's actually serial offenders of that. It's not necessarily the majority. And that's all I care about is the majority. I don't care about the little anecdotal side things that disprove the whole, because that doesn't exist. Yeah. You know, the unicorns don't overstep reality. And we know it's so, man. And I'm to the point, man, I'm just getting too old, man. I'm just gonna call it what it is. And if some people don't like it, that's cool. But you know, the truth is just the truth, man.
You know, I totally agree. It's hard to speak on, because the first thing people do is get defensive, you know. But in reality, it is what it is, you know. In any situation, me being a single father with Sammy for so long, I understood that I needed balance with that. You know, like I could raise him by myself, but he would not have that experience from the nurturer that he would need. You know,
yeah,
so
I remember you talking about that. Yeah,
yeah, it was on me to find somebody that could provide that for him, because I know that's important with him coming up. Maybe not as important later on in his life, because he won't lean to that. But coming up, he needs that. He's gonna feel that void. You know, he'll feel that void, and I understood that. So it's not just single mothers, it's single fathers. It's just really about balance. And if we're gonna create a kid, we need each other to raise that kid, especially when it's both of y'all that made that kid. You know what I'm saying? And that gives that kid a better chance.
I like how you trying to massage that shit, 'cause I don't even agree with that. We all know, man, when you get to a certain age, you run over your goddamn mama, man. And the age is about 12. About 12, it's like your mama can't hurt you no more physically. And if you so want to go away with, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna look for leadership somewhere else, because when she hits you, it don't hurt no more. You start to figure out that, you know, okay, your mama's emotional as shit. And you look for nourishment somewhere else, as we do as young men. So, man, let's just call it shit what it is, man.
That's true. I stopped listening to my mama. Well, not stopped listening to her, but I stopped learning from her when my youngest sister Nikki was born, because the decision she made, I felt like it was a selfish decision, and I didn't respect it, and so I didn't want to learn it. I didn't take anything else in from her, and that's just the truth. You know, I took what I knew made sense, but as
you
far
love
as
your mama, I love my mama. But the truth is the truth, man. Like, I don't sit here and pretend things aren't the way they are. It's just I'm cutting dry with that like that. I'm sorry. So Successfully also says that there's a lot wrong in our community. Most of our men are attacked. What do you mean by that? Most of our women aren't protected. Explain that too. Most of our children suffer because of all this. So I want to know, can you clarify that for me? When you say most of our men are attacked, what do you mean by that? And our women are unprotected. I want to know what you mean by that. But go ahead. If you want to address one of those two, you can.
Yeah, that's most of our men are attacked. So yeah, I'm interested to see.
I don't want to assume. I want to know exactly what you mean by that. So
yeah, I'm going to protect that either. But as far as what we were saying, Pip is right. You know, you stop being afraid. I think Cruz, he ate, and he be taking
afraid of shit.
Yeah, he be taking his whoopings like a G.
He ain't afraid of shit.
Yeah, he don't want me to see him cry or nothing. I'm like, I respect him though. I respect him. I was the same way. I ain't want nobody to see me cry. You know, I ain't want them to see me feel pain. Yeah, I break his little ass down, but you know, he's
a tough cookie, man.
9 or 10 though, he gonna be yeah, you know what I'm saying? He gonna be out of that. So I gotta keep him close, because his mind is strong enough to, like, we always knew he gonna go one way or the other. And it played out. You know, Cruz is my youngest son, youngest biological son. And so he gonna be really good at being good or really good at being bad. There ain't gonna be no in between. You know what I'm saying? So you really gotta understand the personalities of your kids, and nurture them or lead them to a way that will help them be most successful. If you don't even understand who your kids are on the onset, how can you raise them? You know what I'm saying? Like appropriately anyway. You don't even know them. You don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. You don't understand why they are the way they are. You're not even trying to understand. So I see that a lot. It's really a lot. A lot of people get into just raising their kids by going to work, paying the bills, making sure they go to school, and telling them to get good grades. And that's raising the kids. It's so nuanced. It's so layered. Like you really have to pay attention to all this shit, and a lot of people don't. And that's not a knock on any other parents. It's just being a seasoned parent. You really have to understand that it's a lot of little things that go into this whole thing called parenting and raising kids. So, go ahead.
Just gonna call it is, man. Parents are soft, man. Like, I'm sorry. I don't have a kid. Obviously, I know the whole deal. Well, you don't have a kid, you don't know. But being a teacher, been around kids for a long time in my life, you see the ones who get better results. Usually two-parent households, parents who establish boundaries, right? Those generally, you get better results out of those. And I know it triggers people because that may not be your situation. And I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Just like if you have a kid who wants to be an athlete, you having two tall or two athletic parents, you got better outcomes to have a kid that's athletic, right? We understand this stuff. It's just we don't like to accept it because that may not be our reality. And I skim them all through that because to me that's just pointless conversation. Again, I don't like circular conversation because it goes nowhere. So successfully also says, and everyone has the right to an opinion, by the way, right or wrong or ignorant. Everybody has the right to express it. No harm taken. Well, it's not a harm conversation at all. Like, that's why I asked you for clarity. Like, so, and again, and that's kind of where these conversations go. Oh, I agree to disagree. That's fine, but it doesn't really add anything to anything. So that's why I wanted you to tell me, and I'm not trying to attack you, but I want to understand what you meant by your statement. Because again, I'm just not interested in conversations that, oh, well, everybody's doing a good job, everybody got it hard, and we'll figure it out. No, the fuck you won't. And by you, I mean us as a people, not you in particular, Ms. Robin. And to me, I'm just so disinterested in that pathway to learn something, because it's not gonna. It's guaranteed not to go anywhere. It's guaranteed not to go anywhere. And I think it's too much of that, and not to pick on you, but in this space period, it's everybody just talking in circles. And that's why, let's bring it back to the subject matter. That's why what Whitlock is saying, like, listen, these are hard line shit that we got to address. And white people loving you better ain't going to solve it. Better policing ain't going to solve it. Internal shit is going to solve it. Taking accountability for raising fucked up kids is going to solve it, right? Taking accountability for us killing on each other when we should have more respect for another person. Again, this all started because this brother, he was picking his football up that he paid his own money for, and one of the people kicked it out of his hand, and then it all escalated from there, based on having some anger about some calls going on and shit like that. So that action of kicking the football got the whole thing popping.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to boil it down to him dying over somebody kicking the fucking football.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but we can't call it ridiculous because we don't know their situation. We don't know what kind of day they had before that. Like, man, fuck all that, man. Yeah, right is right, wrong is wrong, man.
That's degenerate shit. And we have way too much of that. It's rampant in our community, and we gotta do something about it. And us being the strength of our community right now at the ages that we are, I think it's important for us to get out there and do all that we can, because when we old, ain't nobody gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna be an old nigga that ain't
absolutely. Absolutely.
So you really have to be able to show them that you have to what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta lead by example.
There you go.
You gotta lead by example. And that's in everything. Like Sammy wouldn't, my oldest son, he wouldn't listen to me if he didn't know I could hoop. He wouldn't take what I say in as much if I couldn't hoop or if I couldn't shoot. Like, all right, I'm listening because you're my daddy. But I see shit on TV and that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you have to really lead by example. Like, we have to get out here and show these kids that, hey, there are people who care. There are people who love you and don't even have to know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want you to win because we know how important it is for you to win. We know how important it is for you to feel that feeling of being a winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have to know that that's a thing, because us just saying it, like, hey man, we support you, we'll see you on the flip side. Nah, that ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna do it. That you need to be right there in the trenches with them. And enough of us, in my opinion, are not out there. We're not out there actually showing these kids that they got somebody. So they lean into their own understanding. And the own understanding of an undeveloped mind, like, their prefrontal cortex is not developed to what, 25?
Mm-hmm.
25 years old. They grown men, man.
Yeah, you're just a whole fucked up ass person by that point. It ain't no going back.
Exactly. So many mistakes that you can't undo. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to understand these things. And I was talking to our friend Reggie earlier. We was working, and I didn't see. He was telling me about that video that we just talked about, and I was saying before I saw it, I was saying that old buddy, Mr. What's his name, Mike.
Dog it, man. I keep it. It's
Hickman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm real big on keep your hands to yourself, because you don't know what can happen if you get in a fight. You don't know. And I tell my kids this all the time. I say, you want to die? Like, you could fucking die. And it don't even have to be because they killed you. It could be because you failed and hit your head wrong on the concrete or something like that. Like, if you engage in that type of activity, you have to understand what the outcome can actually be. Mm-hmm. So on that premise, I was like, he engaged in that shit. And if we're talking about accountability, now, nothing against him because he didn't shoot himself, but it could have gone different on his end as well. And that needs to be said. And I know it's an unpopular thing to say, but that needs to be addressed. Because if he walked away and wasn't engaging in that fight, I doubt that he would have got shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was some coward shit for him to shoot him how he shot him. But I don't think it's no way that he would have shot him if dude is walking away, not trying to fight, he got his hands up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that. So I think it's important for us to address the fact that you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just important, bro. Like, that is, I tell them that all the time. Like, you can die and you, at 12, whatever age you are, you can die if you go out there and fight and fall the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything can happen, and you got to understand that if you engage in that, that's partly your fault. So I'm not saying that this man getting shot is his fault, but I am saying that this shit could have went a different way. I know that's not a popular opinion, popular statement to make right now because it's so fresh and all that shit. But if we're talking about accountability, like, we need to be accountable on all sides of it. And dude, he did what he shouldn't have done as far as shooting. But I just can't help but think that if he went the other way, that this wouldn't have happened either. And that's important too.
It's called seeing the forest through the trees, man. Like, you gotta have foresight on some shit. Like, you can't always emotionally respond to shit and get mad when the results go so awry, because at the end of the day, the unknown is uncontrollable. Like, you don't know that this weirdo has a gun ready in your life just because he's mad about the result of a football game when he's vicariously a millionaire through his brother, but all he's thinking about right now is that he's mad because his team lost a football game.
Right.
You gotta. It's called, like, it's almost like you know, when you get your driver's license and then you get a ticket and you go take defensive driving. It's almost the same. It's the same concept. Yeah. You learn to defensively drive your life, and when you start to defensively drive your life, you start thinking for other people. So when you start to assess somebody, a personality, okay, this motherfucker's a hothead. Okay, so I know where this can go with a hothead. So I'm just not gonna play his game. I'm not gonna play his game. I'm like, all right, man, scoreboard, we'll holler at you, and you move around. You don't sit there and go and start woofing with a hothead, because why is that? He emotionally responded, so he gonna try to get the one over on you because he just lost a football game. Because I guarantee you he wouldn't be doing it if he won the football game, right?
Absolutely.
you got to know what you're dealing with. So you gotta think a step ahead sometimes, and that may be seen as being a coward to some people. But what's the old mantra, man? I'd rather be a scared chicken than a dead duck, and that's a decision you're gonna have to make. Now, if he come put hands on you, you got no choice, and you handle your business. But a lot of shit you go through in life is preventable, man. I ain't had a fight since I was 19 years old, man. Shit is preventable, right? So when you go in the unfortunate case of you trying to, put your chest up to the next person, chance is, some shit can happen. And let's look at that situation with the with the lady and the dude at the airport, right? Dude could have I guess he got the best of that situation, quote unquote, but he got suspended from work, so I wouldn't even call it that. Mm. But he basically could have walked away from that situation with that belligerent drunk ass chick, right? Mm. He could have got the security, he could have got the cops. Now I know she was more wrong than him. I'll say that, but at the end of the day, this goofy ass broad was drunk. This goofy ass broad was on one, and you tried to play her game, that peacocking shit. Mm-hmm. And then when she saw opportunity, she slapped on you, and then you came around old buddy like Michael Parsons and tackled her motherfucking ass. And then that was some technique, like
that was perfect.
Yeah. So with that being said, you put yourself in a situation where you got yourself suspended, and not only that, you put yourself in a position where another dude was willing to fight you for something that woman was more wrong on, if we're being honest. But what if that dude just had ill intention? He just teed off on your ass without even looking, right? You got to think ahead of the situation, to your point, because when you're in tunnel vision, you may not see all the variables ahead of you, and that's usually by virtue of emotionality. So you just got to be smarter than that. So Successful says that part of accountability on all sides. Yeah, we'll go with that. Dave from H-Town says, facts, awareness all around. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not popular, but it's true. Yeah, like what Sammy's saying, uncomfortable truths don't make it not true. It's just not a popular thing to say. And I think it's important when we discuss things like that to just be honest, man. Just be honest. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. Very simple. Yep. Fight or flight all day, man. And generally speaking, goddamn it, you won't get good results when that presides over a situation. And as grown men and women, we need to understand that grown, intelligent men and women, we got to understand that our power out in these streets is our mind. It ain't your squad game. It ain't the fact that you got a gun on your hip because someone can pull one quicker, right? Your mind is your most strongest thing. Like you said, our cerebral cortex doesn't develop at 25. Most of us on the stream, we're way past 25. So the way we thought at 24, 28 shouldn't be how we think right now. So I want to say that. So, man, it's been a good damn discussion, man. Shit.
Yeah. I saw B. Jones. He had another comment on there, a couple of them that we missed. Yeah, therapy is needed with all the support. Taking 30 minutes to explore their minds and emotions and reasoning, walking them through their decision making and helping them understand consequences. That's just, man. And he had one more. What was it? It's a trickle down effect. Micro and macro changes need to happen. Absolutely, but it has to be micro first because you won't even get to the macro. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be micro. And yeah, you're right, man. It's therapy, understanding that emotional intelligence, how important that is, just staying in front of it and being proactive and not reactive. All of that shit was reactive. You know what I'm saying? Like that happened that day, and unfortunately, it had an unfortunate outcome. But I just wish that I hate that I have to wish, but I wish that us as a people make that more of a priority. You know what I'm saying? It's really taboo to go to therapy for us because you got to be crazy. But everybody needs therapy because nobody was born with a fucking handbook on how to live life. You know what I'm saying? And how to do this shit. We all out here figuring it out as we go, you know? And you can read books on how to do certain things, but nobody can tell you exactly how to live your life and your path and everything that you've been through and how to make all that shit make sense. Like you have to figure that out on your own. And there's some things that you got to know. And those things that you got to know, it's a lot of people that just don't know it. And that's the problem in our community. And that's why our culture is fucking chaos and confusion. That's what our culture is. It's chaos and confusion. And we have to get away from that. I do side note, I do events at these Indian weddings, do the video and photos now. And it's so much fucking culture. Like their weddings are so different than mine. And I feel like mine was cool, but it's so different. Like they have all these different rituals they do, these customs and all type of shit. It's at every fucking Indian wedding. It don't matter what family it is. You know what I'm saying? Like they have culture. It brings them together. They have dances they do. Well, I know we got dances, but I'm talking about like
working. It's an ancient African expression of the. Really fucking starting that shit. Yeah, I got you saying. We got line dances and shit. I'm being over the top right now.
Yeah, we lack that, and I feel like that's important because our culture is not defined by anything but the fucking chaos and confusion right now. So us as a people in our generation, we have to do what we can to insert some kind of culture. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of tradition. You know, even if it's just in your own family, which is what I'm gonna make happen here in my family, because that's important. That's something that they can take with them and pass down even when we gone, and that's just something that we do because it makes sense. They ain't gonna keep doing the shit if it don't make sense, but it makes sense to them. Is why every Indian family does it. They had weddings for like 3 days, three different segments of it, you know. And I was just amazed by it. And they spend like $500,000 on it sometimes. It's crazy. And the family is spending that shit. It ain't even the people getting married. The family put that together to get them married. It's a thing. But we lack that type of shit, that kind of cohesiveness. Like everybody's so divided in our culture. Everybody is so for me. It's about me. And if it ain't about me, then fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of the problem.
It just goes back to what I was saying earlier, though. Like, again, you can't shame single mothers in our culture. You can't shame holding it up. You can't shame dudes being thugs. You can't shame people killing each other because you don't know their situation. Whereas in that same Indian code that you're talking about, you know what they don't go for? Single motherhood. You get shamed out of your family. You know what they don't go for? Senseless violence, right? So, in more than the therapy thing, I think Successful kind of hit that on the head. The therapy part is cool, but you more stronger than therapy is you bringing in culture, because it'll generally direct you the right way. It'll generally get you where you need to go, the right culture, having a culture. Now, the problem with us is we think, well, I don't like that. I want to incorporate that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. So that way, again, it's nothing uniform. It'll never be anything uniform. And that's why I say, on some respect, our community's done. Because we don't want to be told nothing. We don't want to learn nothing. And like you just laid out, successful communities that do things in a certain way, they're disciplined. We don't want no part of that shit. So how can we ever incorporate these kind of things if, again, we're not addressing the problem at its core? That's our problem. It ain't because, like Whitlock was saying, it's not because we're not going to fix this by white people loving us more, white people being less racist. Because guess who else is marginalized in that same capacity? Indian folks. White people don't fuck with Indian folks either, and they don't fuck with them back, right? We got this complex where we're trying to, mend fences and rectify, even though we will openly admit that racism is so bad and slavery was so bad, but you thinking that they're going to change their nature, what they've always been. And to those people, I say, good luck with that. Good luck with that, because they won't change.
All right.
And you've only got your whole life to show that, for an example, and people who live life before you, their whole life as an example. But good luck with that, though.
Absolutely. You get it right on the head. That's we do, and I used to be the same way. What Chantel said.
She said it's a system. Chantel, you're gonna have to explain now. What do you mean by the system?
That's my homie. He up in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gotta explain that the system to me.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Like I was saying, it's we looking for the pat on the back of the white man and hoping that they change things to accommodate us. And why the fuck would they? Like, just think about it on a very basic level. Why would they change things when they running shit? It's no way that somebody is gonna come in my house and tell me like I'm running shit perfectly fine, and I'm a feel bad for them, so I'm gonna change the way I'm running things because I feel
Absolutely not. Yep, absolutely not.
I'm gonna feel bad for you that you think that way. That's what I'm gonna do, and find a way to kick your ass out sooner because you clearly ain't got it all. But that's how we are. We feel like that they should change things to accommodate us, and they not. They not. They built this system a perfect way for them, or who wants to take a part of it, because it's a lot of us that win in this same system, and it's not just for them, but we separate ourselves, we divide ourselves from it. Like that's they shit. They run this shit. Like, hey, we can do the same thing. We can. You know what I'm saying? They laid it. They showing you how to do it. We just got to pay attention. We don't do that. And to what Cliff said, it's discipline. I had a conversation with my wife about this for the last few weeks. Like, it's another level that we have to get to because we comfortable where we at, but that means we're not growing. So what I'm saying, that next level to where we got to get to is because we lacking discipline. We have to apply discipline. And it's really tough for people that are talented. I'll just say that, talented people. It's hard to be disciplined because you know that no matter what, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure out a way to make shit shake and make it work. And you really don't have to be disciplined because you lived your whole life that way and you've always figured it out. You've always been above average. You've never had to go down there to where, and since you've had control, you've always been above average. So you haven't had to live that life of people that's below average. You know what I'm saying? When they drop down that low, you never get that low mentally because you always understand that it's a way. It's going to be a way. And when you think that way, and you live that way, you lack discipline because you don't have to be disciplined. And I'm always a look in the mirror type person. So I look in the mirror and I'm like, fuck, man, that's what's keeping us from that next level. We lack discipline. So the shit that I don't want to do, like work out consistently, eat better, those very, what seems to be very small, very big, you know what I'm saying, for us right now. And I have to really like get down into it and become disciplined. I've never had to be disciplined my whole fucking life. I haven't. And I'm 38, about to be 39. I've never had to be disciplined to the point where I can get to that next level. And we right here. It's like we right on the precipice of that shit. But to push past it, we have to be fucking disciplined. And we lack discipline, like you said earlier. We don't have that shit in our community.
Yeah, and I think that's more or less the answer to what Robin's question is about what's the solution. Yeah, it's establishing shame, discipline, and order ingrained into our culture. That's the solution. Start shaming black on black violence. Getting to where like we don't want that in our culture. And we got this no snitching shit. I know there's more is applicable to the hood. I understand that's not all black people who abide by that shit.
Right.
But those kind of things, we gotta start disavowing that kind of stuff, man, because it provides a bullshit hood culture that's not helping disavow this thing. Because all they're doing is just basically ignoring people who are tearing the community down. Mm-hmm. Because maybe you're afraid of retribution, or you just don't want to be seen as a rat, you know what I mean, and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But it's like it literally is eating away at the fabric of what we call the black community, right? Mm-hmm. Which, I can go a whole other subject about what black is, which is it's just what the government told you are. It's not based on anything beside like melanin in your skin. It's not a real thing. Like, so we just talked about Indians and we could talk about Asians, like those actually go back to a country of things that you can identify them as far as culture. Black, I mean, where's the country black at? Like, where do you derive your identity from the country black? It don't fucking exist, right?
None of us are black.
Yeah, so we just say it because we're just so used to saying it, but in reality, being black don't mean shit. It literally does not mean nothing, because we were Negro, 50 years ago? Negro before that, right? Mm-hmm. It's whatever the fuck they colored and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just a designation. That's all it is. But we understand the undercurrent. Again, melanated people seem to bridge together. But it's funny. I had a conversation with a 81-year-old man today. Went to the grocery store. A brief one. I could tell he wanted to go longer, but I had somewhere to be. he was talking about when he went over to Africa. He was like, come up to the brothers like, "What's up, my brother?" And they was like, "You're not my brother." And to us, that's a slap in the face. I think he's in Nigeria, as a matter of fact. And because Nigerians, now some of them will be cool with us. We've all had experiences with Nigerians sharing stuff, but it's to a certain level, then it stops. They actually, behind our backs, they call us akatas, right? So because they understand that their culture is thick. Their culture is, they move how they move. And they know American blacks, we don't have culture. We don't have respect. So let me bring it this way. That's why, like, a lot of Nigerians, they come off as like, when women date him, they're like, "Oh, well, he controlling." He's like, well, no, he has a level of discipline, like you was just saying, and he has a way of order about the way he goes about things that's passed down from his family. So it's seen that way by us, liberal-minded black people who just think, like you said, chaos and confusion is normal. So we think that, okay, well, you're a woman and you can just do whatever, and your man word don't mean shit. Well, in that community, that's not how they roll. So you can view somebody trying to give you some leadership or some sense of boundaries as being restrictive, right? So again, going back to my point about we still ain't the same. So what does black mean? So it's all the spectrum is askew. It's all over the place. But let's just say we all gonna go with the traditional meaning of black. My solution for a situation like this is, again, start shaming degeneracy. Start promoting positive behavior. Stop, and I hate to say it because damn, I love hip hop, but shit, we got to stop deifying goddamn these negative things that, and you can say, "Oh, it's just a song, is whatever." True, but if you're not getting the backup from home, like we just led in with it from your parents, this stuff, you start to think this shit is real, and not on the level where you think you're gonna be a millionaire per se, but you think like, fuck these hoes, get this money. You think that's a real way to live your life. I'm talking to the fellas on this, right? You think that degenerate shit nigga come up on me, if the ops drop on me, I'm gonna lay them down. Nigga, you ain't got no ops, nigga. What? They disrespect the hood like you don't own shit in that neighborhood. It ain't your nothing, right? So when we stop championing this bullshit, then it fixes our overall behavior because there's a standard. Until we have a standard, we just talking. So that's my solution. Establish a standard, start like we said, from a micro level, you start dealing with like-minded people and pushing a like-minded ideology because we don't have a culture to draw from. It's just in that front, like we're just done. Like we can't pull nothing from nowhere, but we can, like you said, take cues from successful other communities, especially other minority communities that do this really well, especially from a commercial level, how they only deal with each other. Like as far as let's say a beauty supply, they only sell to each other. They go, take that shit from back home, whether it's Cambodia or whether it's from Philippines or whatever. They bring that shit and they only fuck with each other. That's how you establish culture and you change things. Since we don't have that, right? All you can do is affect what you can affect, and that's people at your arm's length. Other than that, not so much. Unless you have a platform and you talk and people get like-minded under that, then that's different. But from like, you think you're gonna vote and change the world? You think you're gonna protest and change the world? Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Absolutely.
The show going long as shit though, man. You got anything before we land the plane?
Yeah, I'm good. We've been all over the place on this shit, but yeah, if anybody's still on, we appreciate y'all. If you haven't followed, please subscribe. We love to have you, and hit that bell. We're not on often, but when we are, we try to talk about things that actually matter because we feel like this is the way to get back. Somebody can see this in 50 years. The way things are, it could probably still help. So structure, man. Structure and order is what we need. And if you have the ability to apply that in any given situation, please do that. Please do so. We can be better than what we are. And I don't say that just because I'm optimistic. I say that because I know. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've had to grow to where I'm at, and I understand that there's a lot more growth available for me, and I'm pushing for that. I just want y'all to do the same. Realize where you at. Be realistic about where you at. And then, like he said way earlier, I don't even know if it was in this video, but you cannot fix a problem until you identify one. And if you don't know you got a problem, how you gonna find a solution? Just you won't, you can't, and that leads to more delusional people, and that leads to more unrealistic outcomes. You know, and we just tired of seeing it, man. And we know it's things that can be done about it. So this is one step. There's other steps we can take. There's steps that you can take. And we hope that y'all do it. Man. Appreciate you.
There you go, man. So yeah, you landed the plane perfect. So thank y'all for being tuned in. I see y'all like this topic, so we'll try to stick to the ones that y'all like. Hit the like button on the way out. Speaking of likes, and that's it, man. So wise guys. Till next time, y'all. We out.
Peace.
Peace.